Well, 'tis the season here for springtime maintenance. So as the other garage is getting worked on, which doesn't have a lift anyways, wanted to get this girl down to the other one in order to sleuth out a power steering problem. So naturally there's 17 projects here as well. But the Mercedes was here, so I can take the Mercedes home. Anyways, so this old girl, power steering works, but it leaks. So I drove it to work in the fall, didn't have power steering. Filled it up, drove it to work the next day, didn't have power steering. Came home, filled it up, whole garage floor was covered in power steering fluid. So, you can see there's already a drip there. What we have here, let me see if I can get the light on to stay to a point where you can see. Let me spin this around, I'll show you. So you can buy the whole power steering systems for these cars, pretty cheap. But I didn't want to do that until one of these might have just been loose. But you can see, so I cleaned this all off with some diesel and some acetone. I've already got some drips. So you can see right there, it is coming off the pump itself, and not the back, the front, and not the front seal. So that means the O-ring in this pump on the front is shot. Now, I've rebuilt these before unsuccessfully. The rebuild kits are cheap, so are the pumps, at least last time I did it. This one, I did not rebuild, so it is 50 years old now, 49 years old, right? 87, 97, 2007, 2017, yeah, going on 50 years old. I rebuilt the one in the Cadillac twice and ended up just having to buy a new one because it wasn't, the people that rebuild them are rebuilding them all day. They're probably little kids over in some weird country with no labor laws that have tiny hands that can rebuild them. So while I know that that is the O-ring, I'm not gonna mess with it because if I fix that, then one of the other seals will go. We could rebuild the whole pump. And we might do that and stick it on the shelf. We're gonna need one for the El Camino, even though its pump is fine, but lesson learned. So anyways, I don't have one here. I'm gonna have to get one. This is a fairly standard pump for 70s GM, but while I could go get one at a local store, you're gonna pay out the nose. So let's go on the internet, let's find one. We'll regroup here in a couple days with a new pump and see what we can do about getting this pump out. I know it's miserable because it's under a whole bunch of stuff on the front. I remember it being not fun to get in, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So catch you in a couple days here. All right, we got everything off. Let me just hose her. That top bolt above that hose barb was a pain to get off. It was quarter turn the whole way. Now comes the point where I can't remember how to pop this thing out. We got the one in the front too. So give me a minute to see what I can recall of this. And we'll go from there. We might have to loosen this engine mount. That was a little bit of a nightmare. You have to take the alternator out. I forgot to put it in. And I also remembered that I forgot the pulley puller. So that's great. I don't know if I have one at this garage, but we'll see what pullers we have here that we can yoink it off with. Well, yet another day, and we got this on. It can't be leaking. There's nothing in it to leak. That's from the last one. I couldn't do this here. I didn't have my pulley. So there's a special pulley that fits right on here. It can't go on here. It's about the size of a big pill bottle. Clamps around this and then threads in. There's a thread in the center there. Threads into that and then has a second nut that pulls it off, and it's still a pain in the ass. But anyways, it's back on now, so let's get her in. All right, back together. That angle isn't beautiful, but we're gonna see what happens. I had this whole thing together and then realized the alternator belt had to move up. So let's fire her up, see what happens, see how she works, and then I can leave her sit here under some, or above some new cardboard and see if she leaks over the next couple days. Terrible viewing angles on this thing, but hey. Let's go for a drive. I actually went for a drive already and didn't take any videos of it. And I was like, wow, for all this work, it's a pain not to finish off the video with the drive. It's sunny out. Let's put on our Miami nights. Look like high-class white trash. So far, so good. I double-checked it again right before I did this to make sure that it filled all the way up. When you fill it up, you gotta run the wheels both directions a couple times to get it filled in all the lines and in the cylinder and whatnot. This really is a terrible angle to film at. Sorry about that. It won't fit on the dash. I know it won't fit on the dash. And I don't have my fancy little clip-on thing that I bought just for doing this. Man, it is sunny out. It is like 75 too. Beautiful. So then the only question is, does it still leak? Which, for the purpose of this video, we're just going to assume that it doesn't. On the old restaurant down the road here. Loop back around. Rebuilding the engine in this car was one of the best things I ever did. I think it was 7 years ago. Let me see, we're at 62,000. I rebuilt it at 56. Shows you how much it gets driven. About 1,000 miles a year. But it was always running like a dog. It was post-smog, which I had taken the smog off years ago. And it burned oil like crazy. Not to the point where I noticed the oil burning, but to the point where my spark plugs were fouling every year. And took it out, took the engine out. One of the rods had a little bend in it, and it was hollow. The one cylinder that was really bad burning was hollowed out, egg-shaped. So, went 30 over. Put a really rowdy cam in it, as rowdy as I could go, with outrunning on crazy gas. I think this one's 10.5 to 1 or 11 to 1, 10 3/4, somewhere in that range. It's over 10.5 to 1. Rowdy cam, full head, long tube headers, back, deck the heads, all new valve tray and all that stuff. So it looks, other than the exhaust, it looks pretty stock under the hood, and it's still numbers matching. But drive, folks. Still got these beautiful Miami nights on. That's going to do it today for the 77 Corvette power steering pump. Pretty boring video in all honesty, but I'm trying to just keep things moving. This is what I'm working on this week. So more stuff to come in the other garage. Hopefully this will get back to the other garage. Hopefully that bike is going to get back to the other garage. These engines that are mine are going back to the other garage. So anyways, like, subscribe, all that other nonsense, and we'll see you on the next one.